GutPunched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers. Navigating the insidious illness of Alzheimer's is something nobody asks for. The disease sneaks up on you and your loved one, and it feels like you've been sucker punched in the gut. Then you ask, where do we turn for help? Who do we call? What do we do? These questions and more are what we hope to answer and give you some direction and hope. Now let's join our host, Jeff Edwards.
Greetings and welcome. This is GutPunched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers, episode 66, or mixed but mostly positive information on the fight against Alzheimer's. Thanks for joining us today. How's it going? Did you guys have a good week? A bad week? Or was it mixed? For me, well, it was just busy as usual. I went to another helpful caregivers meeting this week, and I do enjoy going because I'm always learning things. I also had an interesting meeting that may bring some big surprises for our Hispanic listeners. And at the end of last week's podcast, we weren't exactly sure what we'd be bringing to you this week, either a different kind of caregiver or an interview with another author. Well, things happen. We did have a great conversation with a different kind of caregiver, but it hasn't been fully edited in time for this week's production. There is just so much information to share, but we'll have it for you in our next episode. Now, here's a question. Did you ever want to be in a band? I used to be a long time ago, and maybe you were in one. But I'm going to have to get my guitar out because today we're going to hear that playing a musical instrument might slow brain aging. That's right. Also, a study that indicates that a cancer drug combination, or combo, may reverse Alzheimer's. And also we'll hear about a popular chronic pain medication that's linked to dementia. You might want to pay attention to that. Now, this wouldn't be GutPunched if we didn't go over our tenets or rules. The tenets we follow at GutPunched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers are simple, but they're important. You have to take care of yourself because if something happens to you, who's going to take care of your loved one? That was number one. And now number two, you can't do it alone. You need help. Yes, you do. Find good caregiver groups or network with friends or relatives. Number three, make a list of people, friends, relatives, co-workers who have offered to help you in time of need. And then make a list of things you need done but can't do it yourself because caregiving duties are overwhelming. Use the lists. Start at the top and keep going till you get what you need done. And you're going to find that helpful. Number four, create a help signal, which means identify a cue or phrase to confirm your loved one is comfortable with receiving help. And that's if you bring somebody in outside of the normal family, it's a good thing to do. And we are also working on tenet number 5. Okay, let's get started. Hey, did you ever want to be in a band when you were growing up? Well, why not now? Playing a musical instrument might slow brain aging. That's right. Here's an article by Dennis Thompson. You want to help maintain your brain health as you age? Then pick up a guitar, start tickling a piano's ivories, or join a band. That's right. Playing an instrument can promote a youthful pattern of brain activity, researchers reported July 15th in the journal PLOS Biology. Specifically, older musicians were better able to understand speech in noisy situations, thanks to more brain power promoted by their musical training, the researchers said. Who would have thunk it? Just like a well-tuned instrument doesn't need to be played louder to be heard, the brains of older musicians stay finely tuned, thanks to years of training, researcher Yi Du, a professor at the Chinese Academy of Sciences in Beijing, said in a news release. Quote, "Our study shows that this musical experience builds cognitive reserve, helping their brains avoid the usual age-related overexertion when trying to understand speech in noisy places," Stu added. Normal aging is typically associated with a decline in people's vision and hearing, the researchers said in background notes. Now, as a result, seniors' brains tend to work harder to compensate for flagging senses. To see whether musical training might help seniors better compensate, the researchers use functional MRI scans to measure the brain activity of 25 older musicians, 25 seniors who don't play an instrument, and 24 young non-musicians. Now, all were asked to identify syllables masked by noise sounds, while researchers tracked their brain activity. And the results show that older musicians were better able to identify syllables compared to their peers. Brain scans revealed that music-playing seniors exhibited brain patterns that resemble those of younger people. Harvard Medical School defines cognitive reserve is the brain's ability to find alternative ways of getting a job done, the result of a lifetime of education and curiosity. The new study supports a hypothesis called hold-back upregulation, which holds that the cognitive reserve produced by musical training promotes more youthful brain patterns, making it easier to manage the effects of aging, the researchers said. They said that future studies should investigate whether other means of improving cognitive reserve, such as learning a new language or exercising, taking classes, or solving puzzles, might help seniors perform better on memory and attention tasks. Quote, a positive lifestyle helps older adults cope better with cognitive aging, and it is never too late to take up and stick with a rewarding hobby such as learning an instrument. The lead researcher, Li Zhang, a professor at the Chinese Academy of Sciences, said in a news release.
We'll be right back to Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
In the fight against Alzheimer's, now matters more than ever. Because now we have treatments that could change everything. But now is no time to stop. Now we've got momentum, so now we use it. Now we seize the moment. Now we turn the tide. Now we make a difference and make some noise. Now is the time to get up, get out, and join the movement. At the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's, held in over 600 communities nationwide. And we need you with us. Because now is the time for hope. Join the fight at alz.org/walk.
This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
I was fortunate enough this morning to trip over an article that I almost passed by. It's called Study, Cancer Drug Combo May Reverse Alzheimer's, written by Lindsay Allison. Scientists have discovered that combining two previously approved cancer drugs effectively treats Alzheimer's disease. The 1-2 punch may be able to reverse the devastation of this disease that affects 7 million people in the U.S., causing a dramatic decline in cognition, learning, and memory. Researchers at the University of California, San Francisco, found that two cancer drugs approved by the Food and Drug Administration were able to restore cells affected by Alzheimer's disease to normal in mouse models. A drug used to treat breast cancer, letrozole, in conjunction with irinotecan, used to treat colon and lung cancer, improved memory and reduced brain damage in mice with Alzheimer's. According to study finds, when the researchers investigated 1.4 million real-world cases of people who have been treated with these drugs, they found that the incidence of Alzheimer's disease was lower than normal. It appears that the combination therapy is effective in reversing a disruption of genes associated with Alzheimer's disease in the neurons and glia, the two main cell types in the nervous system. Using brain cells from deceased donors with and without Alzheimer's disease, the researchers were eventually able to narrow down approved drugs that were effective in reversing the gene expression in these cells. And that's according to the press release from UCSF. They tested the drugs on mouse models that had been genetically programmed to develop Alzheimer's disease. The combination of the two cancer drugs reversed multiple aspects of Alzheimer's in the mice by undoing the gene expression signatures in the neurons and glia that emerged as the disease progressed. It reduced both the formation of toxic clumps of proteins as well as brain degeneration. The drug therapy also restored memory in mice, according to an established memory test. When the researchers examined human medical records, they found that in breast cancer patients who received letrozole, the rate of Alzheimer's diagnosis was 53% lower than matched controls. For colorectal cancer, patients treated with irinotecan, the rate was 80% lower. Both drugs can cross the blood-brain barrier, a crucial requirement for treating brain diseases, and the doses used in the mouse study were within human relevant therapeutic ranges based on prior dosing studies, says study finds. Dr. Yadong Hwang, co-senior author of the study, says he hopes the research published in the journal Cell will advance to a clinical trial so the team can directly test the combination therapy in Alzheimer's patients. Quote, if completely independent data sources, such as single-cell expression data and clinical records, guide us to the same pathways and the same drugs, and then resolve Alzheimer's in a genetic model, then maybe we're onto something, said co-senior author Marina Sirota. We're hopeful this can be swiftly translated into a real solution for millions of patients with Alzheimer's. We've been mentioning the upcoming Walk to End Alzheimer's 2025. Teams are being formed in your towns and cities. There are 626 locations around the country, and the easiest way to find out about your town, go to the Alzheimer's Association website, which is alz.org. In the search box, type in Walk to End, and then scroll down, put in your zip code, and you'll be directed to more information. This year, GutPunched Alzheimer's and Caregivers will have our own team. And if you'd like to be part of it, let us know. You can shoot me an email at gutpunchedac@outlook.com or jeff@gutpunched.com. We're looking for our listeners to join the team, help raise some money, and of course, walk if possible. In Lee County, the walk will be on November 8th, and the walk in Naples will be on November 22nd. That means we have about 5 months to raise money for the cause. And we'll be talking about this a lot as the year progresses. Help us help others in the fight against Alzheimer's. Thank you very much. A drug used to treat seizures, nerve pain, and restless leg syndrome might be linked with an increased risk of dementia, a new study says. Regular gabapentin use appeared to increase risk of dementia by 29% and mild cognitive impairment, MCI, by 85%. Researchers reported July 10th in the journal Regional Anesthesia and Pain Medicine. What's more, the risk was more than doubled in people normally considered too young to suffer from brain aging, those 18 to 64, results show. The findings of this study support the need for close monitoring in adult patients prescribed gabapentin to assess for potential cognitive decline, wrote the research team led by Nafis Egreri, a medical student at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland. Moreover, this provides a foundation to further research whether gabapentin plays a causal role in the development of dementia and cognitive decline, the researchers added. Gabapentin has become increasingly popular for the treatment of chronic pain because it's not nearly as addictive as opioids, researchers said in background notes. But concerns have been growing that gabapentin might contribute to cognitive decline since it works by suppressing communication between nerve cells. To examine this further, researchers analyzed records for more than 26,400 people who had been prescribed gabapentin for chronic low back pain and compared them to similar number of other back pain patients who hadn't gotten the drug. People who received 6 or more gabapentin prescriptions were more likely to be diagnosed with dementia or mild cognitive impairment within 10 years of their initial pain diagnosis, the results showed. Now, looking at age groups, researchers found that 18 to 64-year-olds prescribed gabapentin were more than twice as likely to develop dementia or MCI. Now, this was driven mainly by 35 to 64-year-olds, among whom the risks of dementia more than doubled and MCI more than tripled, researchers said. Now, these risks also rose along with the prescription frequency. Those with 12 or more gabapentin prescriptions were 40% more likely to develop dementia and 65% more likely to develop MCI than those prescribed the drug 3 to 11 times. Researchers noted that because this is an observational study, it cannot draw a direct cause and effect association between gabapentin and brain decline. Quote, we hope the current study promotes further research to delineate whether gabapentin plays a causal role in the development of dementia and underlying mechanisms of this relationship, the team concluded in their paper. And the title of this was Popular Chronic Pain Medication Linked to Dementia, written by Dennis Thompson. In our next episode, we will hear from a different kind of caregiver. And for more information, reach out to the Dubin Center at dubincenter.com. You can check out the Alzheimer's Support Network at alzsupport.org/about-us. And to find your local chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, you can visit alz.org/local resources/find your local chapter. Or, even better, call their toll-free hotline at 1-800-272-3900. That's 1-800-272-3900. Now, they have a new resource called Dementia Care Navigation Service. It's powered by Ripple and the Alzheimer's Association. Caregivers and people living with Alzheimer's or another dementia can access personalized dementia care for free, including a dedicated care navigator and tailored resources. You can call 855-271-2662. That's 855-271-2262 to get connected. Take the first step and contact them. Check it out. We mention the guide frequently. It's another great resource and provides help and respite care. It's probably just easier to Google it, Edge it, or DuckDuckGo it. The information is starting to spread, more people are hearing about it, and it's a great program. Check it out. Now, we finally have a GutPunched Alzheimer's and Caregivers group on Facebook. It's called GutPunched Alzheimer's and Caregiver. Easy name to remember, and the group is growing, so why don't you check it out? Now, I'd like to thank all those people who help and contribute each week to build this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and you know who you are. Our website is gutpunched.com, and the email address is gutpunchedac@outlook.com or jeff@gutpunched.com. Help us grow and share this podcast with others who have someone who has a family member or friends or dealing with a loved one who has Alzheimer's or any type of dementia, that you would let them know about this podcast. They may need the information and resources. There is help and hope out there for everybody. You just must know and where and how to find it. That's why we're here. Thanks for the comments and messages you're sending. Keep them coming. And if you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast. Please leave us a 5-star review. Thanks for joining us, and please come back again. God bless.
This has been Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers, with your host, Jeff Edwards. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to us on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple, Pandora, and more. If you have a question or want to get in touch, our email is gutpunchedac@outlook.com.